Something we've talked about on and off on this show, including a few times fairly recently, is the difficulty that many long-running entertainment properties have found themselves in adapting rapidly changing global marketplace that has decided that absolutely nothing produced in popular culture after 1979 or so will ever be allowed to go away for even a little while ever again. Case in point, the video footage you're now seeing is for the 23rd consecutive season of Power Rangers, while simultaneously seeking greater representation for ethnic and gender diversity popular entertainment as a whole, which, as you can imagine, has created some awkward creative situations and extreme fandom backlash over some of the more unusual attempts to square that particular circle. One of the most common, comprehensible complaints from detractors of such attempts is that such ideas have the potential to get too easy of a pass, i.e. audiences, activists, and critics could conceivably go too easy on this or that new character or plot detail because they support the overall philosophy of what's being attempted regardless of the execution. And yeah, in theory, that kind of confirmation bias is a potential stumbling block when it comes to appraising any creative work. I'd say both the potential and actual examples of such are monstrously overstated to the point of outright paranoia, but can it happen? Sure, it can happen. To use just one recent example, yeah, I still think it was kind of cool that the most recent movie version of the Human Torch was black. I mean, sure, why the hell not, right? But that doesn't mean Fantastic Four wasn't a giant pile of ass, and despite Michael B. Jordan being a really compelling young performer, he wasn't really putting his skills to the best use. I mean, compare how amazing he was in Creed to his Johnny Storm, right? Bottom line, even well-meaning reworkings like this can turn out really, really bad, and it's both important and instructional to recognize moments where it has. Now, my favorite example historically, Venus the Ninja Turtle, who was not only a bad character, but might just be the single worst female character ever created, at least in the realm of adding such a character to a previously male-centric franchise. I've sincerely tried to think of more egregious examples so this wouldn't be colored strictly by my own nostalgia, but yeah, she is really just the worst. Not just a run-of-the-mill poorly conceived character, but one seemingly comprised of every bad decision one could make in doing so. A one-woman walking don't list for adding gender diversity to an established property. So, how did this happen? Well,
TV is weird.
We're ready for our dream walking lessons.
We should return to your home in the toilet.
That's sewer.
Right, sewer.
Venus was introduced to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise as part of Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, a 1998 live-action weekly TV series created by Saban Entertainment, loosely spinning off from the continuity of the live-action Ninja Turtle movies. Revealed as the long-lost sister of the original four main characters, Venus de Mio was intended to be the big, shiny new thing of the series, perhaps inspired by the massive success that Saban had already found in marketing Power Rangers as a cross-gender appeal series thanks to the popularity of the original Pink and Yellow Rangers. But despite a huge marketing push that included a crossover with the Power Rangers themselves, The Next Mutation failed to draw decent ratings and the Fox network canceled it after only one poorly received season. And while it'd be unfair to hang all of that on poor Venus, I'm not exaggerating when I say that if there's a bad decision you can make when designing a female character, they made it with her. It's actually quite stunning.
That's correct.
I see.
Right off the bat, there's the design. The Next Mutation suits all looked pretty hideous, granted, but yeah, they really did give her breasts and feminized body shape features as though they thought that was somehow necessary. Compared to that, having her tie off her ninja mask in a braided ponytail almost counts as subtle. Oh, and hey, did you notice that while the four male turtles are named after artists, the one female turtle is now named after an art object? You'd think somebody would have caught that, but apparently they did not. And before you ask, yes, there are in fact plenty of perfectly decent names corresponding to female Renaissance artists they could have used. Lavinia, Artemisia, Elisabetta, Marietta, it goes on like that. Also, do you see a weapon anywhere? No? Well, that's because she didn't get one. Yeah, there's literally only two things that actually differentiate the Ninja Turtles from one another visually. One of them is the weapons, and she doesn't get one. Maybe she didn't need one because she's just that good at ninjutsu? Haha, nope. She was raised in a Chinese monastery by a different guy than Splinter, so she's the only turtle with no ninja training. Instead, she's got, you guessed it, psychic powers. She's the Ninja Turtle version of Jean Grey. You remember, the X-Man who was only ever interesting when the male characters fought over her and when she turned into the opposite of herself?
You ain't a ninja?
No, I am Shinobi.
You're a full-fledged mutant hottie.
Do not call me mutant or hottie.
They even seem to go out of their way to try and give her an unlikable personality. Now sure, maybe Pickings was seen as slim since leader, cool but rude, party dude, and does machines were already spoken for, but what did Venus get saddled with? The Den Mother. She was the overly mature, always serious, no fun character who always wanted the boys to not be so rowdy and constantly needed simple concepts like games, fun, leisure activities, and broad Western cultural idioms explained to her, ostensibly because of her sheltered upbringing. Here you go, little girls. Here's your representation on the Ninja Turtles crew. The fussy, oblivious Killjoy.
You know, I work out every day.
She's tripping. She's vivacious.
The cherry on the pizza, though, was that they stuck her with truly awful storylines. As part of her introduction in the pilot episode, she defeats the Shredder, which was clearly intended to make her seem powerful, but ends up making her to blame for one of the most popular characters no longer being around. Oh, and she doesn't even get to fight him. She uses her psychic powers to cure Shredder of wanting to be evil. I mean, holy shit, it's like they wanted everyone to hate this character. Not even Roman Reigns gets a push as tone-deaf as this.
What are you doing to me?
That's it, Orokusaki! Turn your evil inward!
I am the Shredder.
You are a butcher! You have betrayed your teaching and disgraced your ancestors!
Her other big perspective storyline? What else? A love triangle. As part of the 5-part pilot episode, the writers took great pains to repeatedly explain that Venus, and in fact all of the turtles, are not actually blood siblings. They just all happen to be in the same bowl at the pet store. Why did the series decide to just offhandedly dynamite such a core aspect of the character dynamics and franchise mythology? So it wouldn't be incest for Leonardo and Raphael to fight over her romantically. No, really, that was the big long-term plan for the first and still only female Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Now, somehow, none of this caught on with anybody, and not only has Venus never returned to the franchise or been explicitly acknowledged outside of a few jokes in the broader Ninja Turtles mythos, though I'm sure by doing this episode I'll find out that there's actually a huge fanbase out there I didn't know about. For a long time, Ninja Turtles co-creator Peter Laird enforced a strict no-girl Turtles policy on all subsequent iterations of the property, which feels a little extreme if we're being honest, and even though he no longer has final say over such matters, no one seems to be in a big hurry to try again.
Now you see her? Now you don't!
And yeah, that's the sad story of Venus, the female Ninja Turtle. A case study, if there ever was one, in how to fuck up a well-intentioned idea. Will anyone ever try to salvage her, or try a good version of the same idea? Stranger things have happened, but I wouldn't hold my breath.